on, and out they go, and it's a good start by Leon Frost. It's not a good start by John Hughes. Matt Harbert gets away pretty well, and it's going to be Leon Frost leading into the first corner, or is it? Harbert up to second place, certainly. Hughes is down to fifth, it's Belsey third, and Colin Gregory up into fourth position, so he's made a good start in the number 72 Shane, but it's Leon Frost with the best of the starts this race, getting ahead, well, holding on to the lead from Matt Harbert, but Harbert fast down the back straight, down the Stebby straight. Can he challenge into Lake Esses? I don't think he was able to. Still going to be the blue car. Yes, the blue dominator ahead as they head through Lake Esses and up towards Shaw's Corner for the first time.
Well, they had a pretty intense battle at Brands Hatch, these two. There was contact. Harbert ended the race in the gravel, not due to contact, but the ball went down and he went off on it, and that really meant he didn't win the championship there and then. But going with them is Belsey. Hughes back to fourth. So he's recovering well, the former runner-up in the championship several years ago. So they're absolutely together in the top four. Hughes to the outside of Belsey up towards Gerard's Corner. Leon Frost has held on to the lead here. Big lock up behind from Dan Polly in the web. Both front tyres completely locked up before turning into that corner. Not exactly a big braking zone, is it, at Gerard's Corner? Pete Belsey's held on to third, though.
He has for the moment, but the red car of Hughes going to have another nibble. Having a nibble for the lead is Matt Harbert, almost getting an overlap there with Leon Frost. The two AHS dominators right together there, and it is side by side for third. And is Hughes going to go through on the inside line at the first part of the Lake Esses? It looks like he might have done. And Harbert is still trying to get alongside for the lead, but Belsey is duking it out. He's trying to go around the outside. Will he get the switch block now? Hughes has gone through on the inside. There's 5 cars together a little bit further back. This is great Formula V racing.
Absolutely right. We didn't have a very good at Brands Hatch. We had a great battle for the lead. Here it looks like we've got battles all the way through the field. Leon Frost hanging on up front then from Matt Harbert, his championship rival. John Hughes now up to third, as you were describing. Jack Wilkinson, he leads Class B, but only just by Will Mailings. They're absolutely nose to tail through Gerrards. They're involved in a battle with Ben Cressy and Peter Studer, who are not Class B runners, but Harbert, despite being in the tow, hasn't been able to get ahead until now of Leon Frost, but Frost on the inside into the S's stays ahead. He really knows here, Ian, that he needs Harbert to fall back in the pack if he's got a real championship contention. So maybe what he's trying to do here is bring more people into the battle.
He's really looking, isn't he, to see what Harbert is doing. Is very focused on his mirrors and almost looking over his shoulder if he could possibly do it, to see what Matt Harbert is up to. Now he's got John Hughes involved in this as well. I don't think he'll mind that too much here, but now it's Harbert pulling out of the slipstream of Leon Frost, going to the driver's left for Gerard's Bend. Danger is that might leave the door open for John Hughes. Hughes doesn't go through it, so it's still Frost leading. Harbert second, Hughes third. Peter Belsey right with them in fourth. These top 4 covered by 0.8 of a second. Dan Polly fifth in the double championship winning Wev. That was when it was in the hands of Graham Gant, and then Craig Pollard. He's on his own in fifth. Colin Gregory in sixth. There's an out. Hughes going for the lead, past both of them into Lake Esses. Great move from John Hughes to go from third to first at Lake Esses.
Leon Frost's pace is 2 seconds slower than qualifying, so I think his hope was to bring more people into the race. His hope was not to be passed by somebody else, though. So John Hughes, the new race leader. Frost second, third Harbert, fourth is Belsey. And John Hughes, remember, can win this championship battle as well. The driver who finished second in the championship back in 2009. So across the line he comes as the race leader in the Scarab. He hasn't won a race this season. He's come second 6 times, so that's a big aim. Frost is fighting back now, though, on the inside of Gerard's Corner. Can't go through as of yet, but we saw how strong the slipstream can be when you're behind. So Frost for a challenge up towards the S's, I'd imagine, here, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about you, but the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. This is great racing. Frost to the left-hand side again. He was looking to see where Harbert was, wasn't he? Oh, there's contact between the top 2, and Frost and Hughes are both into the barriers and both out of the race, and that is the championship to Matt Harbert. Maybe
that's why you shouldn't be looking across at another driver in a braking zone. I think Leon Frost was focusing too much on other people in this race, wasn't he? And John Hughes, I'm afraid, is absolutely a victim. Nothing he did wrong there at all. And Matt Harbert, Leon Frost is putting his arms up in the air, but there's only one person to blame, I think, in that incident, Ian.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, well, they've both got the same reaction, and I suspect it's probably a good idea if the marshals keep the part. Yellow flags, safety car is being called into action here, with those 2 cars both off at Lake Esses and needing to be recovered. We've got 10 minutes of this race left to go. So again, we've got a safety car out in a Formula V race. They're not great fans of that Formula V drivers, but
Don't crash then.
Exactly what I was about to say. That we only have safety cars when, or almost only have safety cars when there's an incident on track. Unfortunately, there was definitely an incident on track there between Leon Frost and John Hughes, battling for the lead. Championship, though, decided in favour of Matt Harper, and I mean, I don't know what his reaction would have been when he saw that unfold only millimetres in front of him, really.
He was never, I don't think, comfortable with going alongside Leon Frost, was he, in that battle that we saw in those opening laps. And he didn't need to beat them, so therefore he was happy to stay behind. And I think maybe he had an idea what was going to fall out in that battle between those two. I'm afraid that means 2 damaged cars to end the season, doesn't it?
Yeah, and with only a short turnaround before the second race, it's probably unlikely that we're going to see them out again later on this afternoon. Right, give you a rundown on the order. The leader is number 1, Matt Harper. Second is number 61, Peter Belzy. In third place it's number 44, Dan Polly. Fourth is number 72, Colin Gregory. In fifth it's number 11, Ben Cressy. In sixth it's number 46, our Class B leader, Will Malins. Seventh is number 55, Peter Studer. Eighth is number 87, Jack Wilkinson. In ninth place it's number 50, Louis Scholes. And rounding out the top 10 is Matt Topham, who, touch wood, is so far not putting any oil down this weekend, as he was at Brands Hatch.
No, I just wondered if this might allow Vaughan Jones to have a chance to finish third in the championship, a place he's been finished in so often. I think he needs to be at the front, really, to achieve that, because he's a bit behind. He can do it mathematically, but he needs to be at the front of the field rather than 11th as he is at the moment.
Yeah, he was third in 2022, he was third in 2023, he was third in 2024. I think if he's only fourth this year, that's going to be a major disappointment, isn't it? He's not managed to sort of shake off that position, and probably when he was hoping to go up in the order rather than down.
He's only had a couple of podiums this year, so it's not been quite as successful, I don't think, as previous seasons. So can Pete Belzy do anything about Matt Tarbert here, I wonder? Pete was on the podium in the 2 races at Brands Hatch last time out.
He's won a handful of races over the years as Pete Belzy. This is the ex-championship winning spider of Jez Clark. We talked about that. This was something that was well over 20 years ago now that Jez Clark won the championship in that car. But nevertheless, once you've won a championship, it's not being taken away from you. But it is still a very quick car to have out there, as is the car just behind it, Dan Polly. We were probably both a bit surprised him as far down as we were in qualifying this morning.
Yeah, he dominated his first out in that car at Donington last year, didn't he? I think the engine blew up in race 2, and you just wonder if that's affected him. He did win the 2 races at Silverstone, though, didn't he, Dan Polly? He was a massively experienced driver. He won the Irish Championship in 2016, but prior to that, he actually raced LMP2 cars at a very high level of racing in the Asian Le Mans Series. Yeah. So very experienced driver and a very quick car, so it's sort of surprised I hasn't sort of merged into strong results this year.
Yeah. There's no damage to the barrier, which is good news, but the recovery vehicle has been sent to the scene, or 2 recovery vehicles, as we could see, because both of those cars do need a lift. They can't just be manhandled out of the way by the marshals. So I don't necessarily know how much more time we'll get in this race. There's 6 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock, and there's 2 cars to be recovered there. A safety car is just going past that part of the circuit now, and so they'll get on if they can with recovering both of those cars. We'll see if there's time for a little bit of racing before the end of this, but I suspect not very much, if any, Josh.
Matt Harbert on his way to the championship really is a deserving feat, isn't it? Because he's won 7 races so far. This could get 9 by the end of the day. So he's been pretty dominant, really. He was unlucky not to win the championship at Brands Hatch when he fell off the circuit on the Matt Topham oil that you described. He sort of feels unfair that because then the race was red flagged because of the oil, but because he was off the circuit, he wasn't able to be classified, which was unfortunate. Probably would have won the championship then. And he's kept himself out of trouble in this race. It's another back-to-back champion that we've had in the Formula V Championship. Yeah.
Previous one was James Howage in 2020 and 2021. Before that, it was Paul Smith in 2015, in 2016 and 2012 and 2013. Before that, Martin Farmer in 2010 and 2011. Martin spending more time racing on his feet this time rather than behind the driving seat.
Simon Foley's still going, so he's on course for a Class B title if he finishes this race. He's actually last on the Class B cars. That won't matter if he finishes. Will Malins, his championship contender, is leading the way. The 18-year-old who started racing halfway through last year in the ex-Martin Snarey, the ex-Martin Snarey Shane.
Yeah.
It's the ex-Harwich Maverick that Cy Foley is at the wheel of, the X6 pace driver. He's currently down there in 15th position, but doing what he needs to do. He had class wins at Croft and then 4 on the bounce, 2 at Snetterton and Anglesey, that really put him in a strong place in the championship within Class B.
These cars, of course, 1300cc air-cooled VW Beetle engines that power these. Formula V inaugurated back in the late 1960s, and that's just a little bit before Formula Ford in the US now. I think it's it's basically going to be a bit longer, isn't it, before these cars get recovered, because they can only recover one of them at a time, I think, is the problem that we've got here, because there's 2 of them that tangled. So it's going to be a very limited amount of time that we get for any restart, because there's only 4 minutes to go now. And of course, and change. Best lap of the race, that went to John Hughes, didn't it, before the incident? Did a 52.021.
So much slower than they were doing in qualifying because of the battle that they were involved in, the type of racing. I think that Leon Frost was sort of ensuring. It was weird, there was only 4 cars in the battle because of that, really. You'd expect more cars would have been able to contest the lead battle because of that, but it wasn't happening.
Yeah, the lap record for these cars is a 50.40 for Craig Pollard. Now, that's one of the relatively few lap records in a way that's comparable, because it is on the same tyres. Changed tyres in Formula V several years ago now, and the tyres are very durable, but not as quick as the Dunlops that they used to in the one Hughes is now. And so there's quite a few relatively long-established lap records in Formula V, but that Craig Pollard mark was only set this weekend 3 years ago.
In the car that Dan Holly's at the wheel of course. So
absolutely. And Craig's gone on to race in F1000, winning the championship
some
last year.
Questions about the nose cone on Peter Studer's car, kind of a 55. So I'm not sure if we can have a look at car 55 in the front of that car, but might have been involved in an incident somewhere along the line. That's the car in 7th place.
See if we can have a look at that. Whether that nose cone is sort of dragging. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's looking like the front section is dragging right along the circuit, right along the surface of the track. So that's why the scrutineer will be having a look at that. It shouldn't be doing that.
So if we don't go racing this time, this might be it, mightn't it? Not sure how we're getting on with the incident. But see if we get a checkered flag this time, or we'll carry on till the end of the 15 minutes.
Let's check until there's radio messages going on.
Yeah, the safety car's loaded one right down in the hope.
Yes, but I think it might be a vain hope, Josh, that we'll be able to get another lap. So
checkered flag.
Indeed it is. So it looks like we're going to get a slightly early checkered flag this time, and because of the issues with the timetable, it's sensible to do that. Because no prospect of a restart, so we might as well just get them to the Parc Ferme area a little bit quicker than we otherwise would. There was no prospect of a restart, and that will allow us to start the next race a little bit earlier than otherwise might have done. So a win for Matt Harbour that wraps up the championship for him, from Peter Belty and Dan Polly. But there was only about 4 laps of. Yeah, 4 laps, I think, of racing.
It's quite an interesting 4 laps.
We've got more in 4 laps than we do in some races in 4 hours, don't we? So, so it was good value for the 4 laps from our point of view, but possibly not for a driver who would have been wanting to get more racing laps out of that. But as we said, best way to avoid safety cars and red flags is not to collide with one another, which is unfortunately what happened there.
So Simon Foley also wins the Class B title and all of that.
So Matt Harbert, number 1, the race winner after 10 laps. Finishing nominally 1.7 seconds ahead of number 61 Pete Belzy second, 44 Dan Polly was third, 72 Colin Gregory was fourth, 5th number 11 Ben Cressy, 6th number in Class B was number 46 Will Malins, 7th was 55 Peter Studer, 8th was number 87 Jack Wilkinson, 9th was number 50 Lewis Scholes, running out of the top 10 was number 47 Matt Topham, then it was Vaughan Jones, further back you can see him, Emma Costa-Dinov, Phil Waterhouse and Mark Egan. If we go back a page, we get to our Class B champions, 32 Silent Foley, Sam Engineer, David Tuckle, Chris Wilshire, John Cressy. They were the other finishers in that Sustain Fuels Formula V Championship race. All being well, we'll have them out for a second race a little bit later on. I think the cars are being brought into Parc Fermé, so with a bit of luck, Kieran Mark will find some drivers to talk to. We can go down to him now, I think, or can we not? Let's have a look. We can go down to him now. Yeah, so let's head down to Kieran Mark in the Parc Fermé area.
Thank you very much. As we can see, Peter Belsey and Dan Polly just congratulating Matt Harbert there on that very dramatic race in which Matt Harbert has been provisionally crowned the 2025 Formula V champion. Let me see if I can just quickly jump in with Matt. Matt, can I just jump in a sec? So provisionally 2025 champion.
Excellent, yeah, a bit underwhelming really, bit of a rubbish race, wasn't it? But yeah, great result. I just wanted to keep my nose clean. I found we had some really good pace in the first few laps and sort of lining up alongside Leon, but he was pretty robust on his defence. So, and then John sort of got in the fray as well, and then I could see them all getting a bit tense between them. So I just sat back, and then obviously that was the end of the race. So a bit disappointing end of the race for the three of us really, because it's been a great year, but please, it's good. I can relax. So yeah.
No, absolutely. You've still got a race later on as well today, so just gonna take it easy, have fun, or what are you gonna do?
So we'll try and win really, I suppose. So yeah, we'll just crack on as we normally do. So yeah, thank you very much.
So well, congratulations on the win and congratulations on the championship.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers, thank you very much. Let's have a quick chat with Peter Belsey. Peter, if I can just jump in a second, almost a bit of an unexpected P2 for you there.
Yeah, not the longest of races, but still, we were expecting a bit of fireworks in that race, I think, with the championship at stake. So yeah, glad to keep my nose clean, and we'll hope for a race later if the daylight and curfew allows.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, decent pace there. For the second race, obviously, you were, a bit behind them, like a couple of tenths, I think it was, whatever. Do you reckon you could possibly take it to them in the next race?
Yeah, I think if I can stay in the tow, we'll see. I was certainly keeping with them in that battle, so hope to have another go later, proper go.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Let's have a quick chat with Dan Polly now. So Dan, can I just jump in a second? Again, bit of an unexpected podium for you.
Yeah, I'm not going to say no to it. After the disaster qualifying earlier, I'm happy to finish third today.
And obviously, the race unfortunately got cut short, but before then it was a proper battle up and down the entire field as well. Like, how difficult was it to try and keep your nose clean for the duration of it?
Well, the riskiest part was the first lap because everyone's vying for position through turn one, but it kind of settled itself out a little bit, a bit of a calm, had a bit of a gap behind me, thankfully. But up front it looked like mayhem, so didn't want to get too close to that. But these things happen, so I'll happily accept the third because of it.
And what do you reckon? Repeat it later on today?
Who knows? Never say never. It's I know we're pushed against time, so let's see if the race happens. But fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thank you very much. All right, cars are on track. Coming up next, we have the hot hatches.